Hello, welcome to Tuesday, September 1st, daily lesson presentation. So I want to go through with you some things on our agenda that's on the Google site. Monday, I had a Google Meets trying to help students who needed access to the online text, and I only had one student show up. So if you are having problems getting an online text, you need to attend a Google Meet, or you need to reach out to me if you can't reach at those times that I set up my Google Meet so that we can set up something at another time. But we're diving into the text, we're getting deep into the textbook, and if you're behind, if you're not getting your assignments completed, it's just going to start snowballing on you. So please watch the videos, read directions carefully, read the slides, follow my presentation. Everything is very crucial and critical if you're not going through the slides. So today, Tuesday, I will have a Google Meet from 12:25 to 12:55, so about 30 minutes. My focus is to help strictly students who need help with the online text. After that, once I've helped everybody that's in the Google Meet with that, if you have additional questions or help, I will answer those questions at that time. Okay, so today's agenda, of course, you'll need to make sure you do your warm-up in your Google form. Again, that's located in Google Classroom under classwork, and submit that so we can take attendance each period. You'll need to go ahead and log into Clever and then log on to the online textbook Savas. And you will see I have a new assignment posted there for you. It will be titled Reading and Annotating Through the Tunnel. And there should be a link there for you. I'm going to go to that in just a second. That'll bring you to the short story. You are required to do the annotations. I've seen the mentor text students who have in progress, but there's no annotation going on. You are required to do the annotation. So make sure you are doing, and where do you find the directions for the annotations? Over here in the slides. Again, you have to go through the slides to get directions. With this assignment, do not turn it in until we have completely read the entire story through the tunnel and that we have done annotations from beginning to the end of the story. So just to get you onto Savas, once you go into Clever and you log in, you should go straight to Savas. It should bring you to a page that looks something like this. When you click on classes, you probably should see here if you have new assignments posted. Of course, remember mine is a teacher view, so it looks a little different. I'm just going to click on this, and I'm going to click on my first period class. So this was the mentor text. And as you can see, I only have in first period one student who has completed it. You've got to make sure whenever you do these assignments that you do turn them in. So I'm just going to the reading and annotating through the tunnel. So you should be able just to click on it. I'm going to preview it. Okay, so it should look something like this for you. And then when you click on this text, on that link, it should bring you to the actual text, the story. All right, so here is the story. And as you can see, when you're annotating, you can highlight, you can choose the colors, you can circle, you can underline, and you make comments with what you're annotating. So this is what you need to be doing when I give directions on how to annotate. So make sure you're doing that. There is the audio for the story, so you can read it, but I'm going to tell you that if all you do is listen and you don't read with your eyes, you're going to miss out on a lot of information. When you see it and hear it, it's double reinforcement, and it just makes it that you retain that information so much more. And you're going to have questions to answer, so you really have to pay attention to the text. So make sure you're not just listening, that you're reading as well. I'll go back. So make sure you have that all opened up. Oh, let me go back here. So after you once we finish, there should be like a turn it in button over here for you in your view, and you'll need to turn in your assignment. Again, that's not until we've completely read the story and we've completed all your annotations. Okay. All right, so we've talked about your warm-up. We've talked about logging into Clever and how to find the assignment. After you've at least got all that up, go through the slides. Either watch this video presentation is probably what you're watching, or again, if you don't want to watch the video presentation, you can just click through the slides. After you've gone through all the slides, which I will do that in just a moment, you will then read the story on your own. You'll also need to go to Google Classroom and open up the document, the worksheet, through the tunnel, part 1 questions, and you will work on answering these questions as you read. So going to Google Classroom, go to classwork, week 2, as you can see right here, here's September 1st assignments. You have your warm-up, and here's the worksheet. And the worksheet looks like this. It is a Google slide, but it has text boxes where it says type here. You just click on that and delete the type here and then type your information. If you, for some reason, I don't think you should run out of room, but if you run out of room, always you can adjust your font. Don't make it too tiny. I have it set at Arial Narrow right now at size 11. That should give you plenty of space to respond to these questions. But you only have 4 questions and 1 exit question to do. So just make sure you answer those completely and fully, and I'll go over that when I go into the slides with you. Again, this is located in Google Classroom. This will be right here. You just click on that. Okay, so let's go back to the slides and go through. Oh, today you're only reading paragraphs because you will only see paragraph view, not page view. You're going to be reading paragraphs 1 through 22. That's all we're going to be reading for today. I'm going to go to the slides. All right. So in your warm-up today, what is the purpose of using imagery in writing? So just think about that for a moment. Think about what imagery does. And then look at those 3 sentences below. Identify the examples of imagery used in the following sentences and explain the effect it has on the reader. So read through those sentences, find the imagery, and think about the effect it has on the reader. So pause your video and complete that activity. Okay, so you should have taken the time to really think about that question, what is imagery and why it's used, and go through those 3 sentences. So what is imagery? Imagery is the descriptive or figurative language used in literature to create mental images for the reader. These images are created by details of sight, sound, taste, touch, smell, or even movement. So it's appealing to our senses. So let's look at these sentences, these very basic sentences. Oops. So I got one answer. It was a dark and dim in the forest. So what imagery are we seeing in this sentence? We see dark and we see dim. All right, so what is the effect of that on the reader? We don't have a whole lot of context, but with that sentence, it does give you kind of a foreboding feeling that something maybe sinister is about to happen. In sentence 2, the children were screaming and shouting in the fields. What do we have for our imagery? Screaming, that's something we can hear. So again, there's not a whole lot of context. So why are they shouting and screaming? Are they excited? Are they having fun? That could be the effect it's having on the reader, seeing that the children are enjoying it. Or are they being scared? Is something scaring them? And the girl ran her hands on a soft satin fabric. And our imagery there is soft, which appeals to our touch. And we all will immediately associate with something that we have touched that's extremely soft. Okay, skip this part. So here are the directions for you remote learners. You'll see the RL will mean remote learners. What you need to do with that annotation tool when you're online. Before you start annotating, in the book you will see, or sorry, in online text, you'll need to take a minute to do the concept vocabulary. And once you're again on the text page on the right hand side, let me go back here. Over here, when you click on the prepare to read and then the concept vocabulary, you will see right here this open activity. And when you click on that, it will open up a document where you can type here and you can type your response. So be sure to read the directions. We're not doing definitions. We're reading here, and all you have to do is put your response right there. It shouldn't take you but a minute, minute and a half to complete. Oops. Oh, lost my spot. Okay, here I am. Okay, so do that concept vocabulary first. And these are the directions on how to do that. When you've done the concept vocabulary, then you can, and you begin reading, these are the annotations that you will need to do as you read. So you're going to put a yellow circle around words that you don't know and define them in the notes, in that little text box that you have there. If you don't see any unfamiliar words, oops, my clock is going off. If you don't see any unfamiliar words, then circle powerful words or words that have effect on the reader, and explain why you chose to circle those words. Pink, underline, pink any important ideas. Question mark, leave a question mark in an annotation note next to things that you don't understand or want to know more about. And underline blue, examples of imagery, details related to those 5 sentences. So, and this story is loaded with imagery. Okay, so the worksheet Through the Tunnel Part 1, I already explained that you need to go to Google Classroom, click on classwork, and find that worksheet for you to open up. And as you read, you will want to refer back to that so you know what you're looking for. I'm going to go over the first question with you and show you my expected model response. So what you need to do right now, if you haven't read the first paragraph, you need to pause the video, read the first paragraph, and then come back, unpause the video, and let's go over that first question. So right now, go ahead and pause the video and read that first paragraph. Okay, so you should have read the first paragraph of Through the Tunnel. The first question on your assignment on your worksheet, it says cite details in the opening paragraphs that describe the bay and the beach. Why does the bay draw Jerry's attention, and what does it represent? Okay, so here is my expectation for your response. Always make sure you answer all the questions. Oops. Sometimes these questions have more than one, so make sure every question's answered in your response and not just the first one. So first I'm going to cite details. That means I need to provide quotes. At the beginning of the story, the narrator describes the bay as wild and rocky and wild bay, while the beach description is a crowded beach and safe beach. Notice again, proper punctuation, proper capitalization. I'm keeping it in present tense, so make sure you're doing all those things correctly. All right, the next part of the question was, why does the bay draw Jerry's attention? So what do you think? Why is he so drawn to it? Jerry seems to be attracted to the danger of the bay, which represents, and then I'm going into my last question, what does it represent? So he's attracted to danger, answers the question why he's drawn to it, and then which represents the freedom and an escape from the structures of childhood. So I think many of you can relate to Jerry, as you probably have been going through starting in junior high, that transition into more adulthood, more freedom, more wanting to put your childhood things away and embrace a more independent lifestyle, which Jerry is kind of developing with his mom in this situation, this vacation that they're on, that they typically go on. He's starting to break away and grow up and be more independent. Okay, so that's what I'm expecting for you to write. Always complete sentences, always very detailed and very thorough answers. If you give me a vague response that is just very basic and on the surface, you will not receive full credit. Vague responses do not show me a depth of understanding, so you need to make sure you always write completely. All right, so I'm not going to go through the other questions because I'm expecting you to pause the video and then read through them, but you have 3 more questions to answer. There's also one that's about creating mental images. So read that carefully and then do your exit ticket. What do you think will happen next in the story? And once we finish the story, I will probably have a Google Meets with my remote learners so that we can have a little bit of discussion, make sure everybody understands what's happening in the story, and get you ready for whenever we take an assessment. So remember, if you have any questions or you need any help or you're confused, you need to comment in the assignment directions, email me. You need to reach out to me and get some help. And a lot of you have done that, and I greatly appreciate it. But do not stay lost, and be sure you're reading everything before you contact me to make sure you have tried all your resources before you reach out to me. All right, y'all have a great day.